Part 1. The Elves' Escape. Hawk's fierce battle with the spider trees had given the wood elves the precious moments they needed to flee. As they raced through the dark, twisted pathways of the wicked woods, they could hear Granny Ursula's mocking laughter echoing in the distance. The ancient hag had allowed their escape, a cruel game she enjoyed playing. Her minions did not pursue the fleeing elves, instead watching with sinister smiles as the forest seemed to shift and guide the escapees toward a particular direction. Despite their fear, the wood elves sensed something peculiar about the forest's behavior. Branches and vines that had once sought to ensnare them now seemed to part, creating a path through the dense undergrowth. Leaves rustled in an unnatural breeze, whispering words of caution and direction. The forest, once a menacing labyrinth, was now an eerie guide, pushing them toward an unseen destination. The elves, though grateful for their unexpected fortune, remained wary. They had seen too much of Granny Ursula's wickedness to believe in pure luck. As they stumbled forward, the dark woods began to thin, the oppressive atmosphere lifting slightly. The air grew fresher, and the oppressive shadows receded, revealing a faint light ahead. Emerging from the darkness, the wood elves found themselves in a beautiful forest of sunflowers. The vibrant yellow petals stood in stark contrast to the grim scenery they had left behind. This enchanted forest, surrounding the wicked woods, seemed like a sanctuary of hope amidst despair. At the heart of this sunflower forest stood a giant twisted tree, its gnarled branches forming an archway, the gateway to the wicked woods. Breathing sighs of relief, the wood elves glanced back one last time at the twisted tree, marking the boundary of Granny Ursula's domain. Though they had escaped the immediate danger, they knew they must warn others of the lurking evil and the fate of their rescuer, Hawk. Little did they realize that their escape was part of Granny Ursula's cunning plan, hoping their tale would spread fear and bring forth a ransom for the captured dragon. Part 2. The Illusion of Skullheim. Meanwhile, within the depths of the wicked woods, Hawk found himself wandering through a nightmarish landscape known as Skullheim. The bone maze twisted and turned, each path more confusing than the last. Hawk felt as if he had been trapped in this hellish place for years, each corner turning into another dead end, his mind growing weary with each passing moment. Granny Ursula watched from her lair, a sinister grin on her face. She had cast a powerful illusion over Hawk, making him believe he was trapped in this maze for an eternity. The reality was far more sinister. Only days had passed since his capture, but the illusion was designed to break his spirit, to make him pliable for her ancient spell. Hawk stumbled through the maze, his thoughts clouded by the relentless passage of time. The walls of bones seemed to close in on him, the whispers of lost souls echoing in his ears. He felt a growing sense of despair, wondering if he would ever find a way out. The dreams were vivid, haunting his every step, making him question his sanity. In the heart of Skullheim, the realm of bone maze and bone dust, Hawk, the mighty red dragon, found himself trapped in his human form. The oppressive atmosphere of the place weighed heavily on him, the bone walls closing in with an eerie silence. Days blended into nights, and soon Hawk lost track of time. What felt like years passed as he wandered the labyrinth, his spirit growing weary. During one of his aimless journeys through the maze, Hawk encountered a spectral figure, a spirit of an elf named Maria Darkmoor. Her ethereal form glowed faintly in the dim light, her eyes filled with a sorrow that seemed to span centuries. Maria revealed that she had once been a powerful and benevolent being, corrupted by a wilder lord into the malevolent Granny Ursula. "I've been hiding here, a forgotten goodness, trying to remember who I was before the corruption," Maria said, her voice tinged with melancholy. "I was once the heart of these woods, and now I am but a faded memory." Hawk felt a kinship with the spirit, both of them prisoners in this twisted realm. "We will find a way out together," Hawk vowed. "I won't let your memory fade into oblivion." Together, they traversed the bone maze, Maria's knowledge of the labyrinth guiding them through its darkest corners. She spoke of the Goblin King, a mysterious figure who claimed to possess the power to free them from Skullheim. Their journey was fraught with peril, the bone dust swirling around them like ghostly apparitions, but they pressed on with determination. As they neared the end of their quest, hope flickered in Hawk's heart. They stood before the throne of the Goblin King, a grotesque figure draped in tattered robes, his eyes gleaming with cunning. "You have done well to reach me," he rasped. But before they could begin to ask, Hawk felt a sudden, jarring pull. The world around him dissolved into darkness, and he awoke to find himself bound and weakened. Granny Ursula's cackling filled the air, her dark magic thrumming through the bone walls. "Did you think you could escape, dragon?" she sneered, her eyes alight with malice. "Your mind may have wandered, but your body has always been mine to control." Hawk's heart sank as he realized the truth. His quest with Maria had been a mere illusion, a cruel trick played by Granny Ursula to break his spirit. Bound by the ancient magic, he struggled against his restraints, but the power of the hag was too strong. Granny Ursula leaned closer, her voice a whisper of venom. "You will remain here, trapped and helpless, while I spread darkness beyond these woods, and there is nothing you can do to stop me." Hawk's spirit, though weary, remained unbroken. He met Granny Ursula's gaze with defiance. "I will find a way to defeat you, Ursula. I will reclaim my true form and end your reign of terror. We shall see, dragon, we shall see. Your time in Skullheim was but a taste of the eternity you will spend imprisoned within this gem." She began to chant an ancient spell, the words dripping with power. Hawk felt his body, mind, and soul being pulled toward the gemstone in her hand, the magic binding him completely. Part 3. Taverns and Treachery. Back in Durndar, the atmosphere in the local tavern was lively, filled with laughter and the clinking of mugs. Lord Renfield and his lady sat at a corner table, their faces flushed with drink. They ranted loudly about their recent ordeal, drawing the attention of nearby patrons. "That blasted Hawk!" Lord Renfield slurred, waving his mug. "Some legendary guide he turned out to be. Took us straight into danger. He did." The lady beside him, equally inebriated, nodded vehemently. "It's as if we walked right into the hands of that wretched hag," she exclaimed, her voice rising. "We should never have trusted him. Horrible guide." Their ranting continued, but their drunken words held a hint of truth that piqued the interest of one particular patron. Wade Wilds, a warrior known for his keen senses and sharp mind, listened intently from the shadows. He had been following the whispers of trouble in the forest, and this was the first tangible lead he had encountered. Wade approached the table, his presence commanding attention. "How do you know the hag?" he asked, his voice low and dangerous. Lord Renfield and his lady exchanged nervous glances, their bravado faltering. The lady, emboldened by drink, sneered at Wade. "You can't prove our involvement," she spat. "You can't prove that the hag paid us gold coins." Her words hung in the air, a damning confession in their drunken state. Wade's eyes narrowed. "So you were involved," he said, his voice deadly calm. "You led Hawk into a trap, and now you're trying to cover your tracks." His hand moved to the hilt of his sword, a clear warning to the treacherous pair. "You will tell me everything you know, or face the consequences of your actions." Part 4. Confrontation and Revelation. Lord Renfield and his lady paled, realizing the gravity of their situation. Their attempt to cover their involvement had only incriminated them further. Wade's stern gaze and the growing interest of the tavern's patrons left them with little choice. "We didn't mean for it to go this far," Lord Renfield stammered. "We were paid to hire Hawk and lead him into the woods. We didn't know what would happen to him." Wade's grip on his sword tightened. "By whom?" he demanded. "Who paid you?" The lady, now visibly frightened, whispered, "It was a cloaked figure. We never saw their face. They gave us a bag of gold and told us to hire Hawk and lead him into the wicked woods. We were desperate for money, so we agreed." Wade nodded, understanding the depth of their treachery. "You will come with me," he commanded. "We're gonna find Hawk, and you will help us rectify this." The drunken pair nodded reluctantly, realizing they had no other choice. Wade turned to the rest of the tavern, addressing the concerned patrons. "If anyone wishes to join in the search for Hawk and put an end to this evil, meet me at dawn. We have much to do." With that, Wade left the tavern, the sobered nobles trailing behind him. The stage was set for a confrontation with Granny Ursula, and Wade vowed to rescue Hawk and end the hag's reign of terror once and for all. Break time 0.5. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this adventure, be sure to like and subscribe to the Dragon Emperor stories. Remember, every subscriber becomes another valiant dragon rider in the mystical realm of Qualth. So join us on this epic journey.